Today I have Jeri Schlickburn, and before I get into her bio, let me give you a little background of how I know Jeri and Mike. Some of you might know, but back in the day, Mikey and I used to work at a wonderful place called OmahaNightlife.com, and I was a photographer. He was a sales guy when we first started, and that was like 2002. And we became really good friends, best of buds. Almost got in trouble a few times, and from there, Jeri and Mike started doing. Well, I'm going to skip all the other stories, but they met, and and then once they met, they were doing flips, a significant amount of flips, like 300 plus flips. They ended up doing in that time frame. And I was working at Thrasher Basements at the time, and I would come check out the foundations for these guys, and it led to them offering me a job, and I was supposed to be the head of marketing when I started, and then led into about every other job you can imagine, which led into a partnership and long-term friendship, and so this is where we're at now. And the funny thing about Jeri, and every time she speaks or Mike speaks, we always say we keep you as our high-level backup. So there's a reason why Jeri hasn't been on the podcast yet, because I'm like, every time I'm like, sometimes somebody cancels, you're my backup, you're my go-to, because then you're a good one. And then she's away out of town when it happens, so. But that's how kind of this friendship created, and that's where we got us where we are today. So let me give you a little information about Jeri, a little more in depth. But Jeri is a mindset coach, real estate investing coach, speaker, workshop facilitator, and author. Her new book is in the back, by the way. Misty's holding it up. She's really good about this. Jeri works with those who are searching for that something more in life and who are committed to discovering it within themselves. She is a co-owner with her husband, Mike, of the Dreamvesting Companies, which consists of DVG Realty Group at kwElite, Orange Property Management, Schlick Construction, Solid Roofing, Dreamvesting Capital Group. They own and manage about $15 million portfolio of real estate, ranging from single-family rentals to apartment buildings. These include the long-term and short-term rentals, such as the Offutt Manor, iconic historic Omaha mansion, and they've recently completed their first ground-up development, 10 Square Townhomes near the UNMC. You didn't mention your smash room or lockout room in that either. That's a great idea. You take stuff from the property management company and then you smash it in a smash room, right? Jeri is passionate about teaching others how to invest in real estate. What sets her coaching apart is that in addition to how, she also teaches mindset. Her coaching company, Jeri Cristine Coaching, was formed in 2022 and has already coached over 60 students toward turning their dreams into reality. Jeri's pride and joy are her 3 children, Maya, Ivy, and Caleb. Are they here? Where's Maya? Yeah, I see her waving. And each of her children were adopted, and she advocated for an open adoption. Her passion and personal time consists of traveling, reading, hiking, and adventure. As she says, none of us are guaranteed tomorrow. It's time to start living your dreams now. Without further ado, let's do a big round of applause for Jeri Schlickburn.
So, I love that he talked me up tonight because I am starting to feel like chopped liver because I'm the backup. And so...
But you weren't the backup tonight. This is very
true?
planned out.
I was expecting about 20 people tonight because I'm the backup. So welcome, everybody. It's nice to see all of you here tonight. Tonight is going to be a little bit different than what you're used to hearing at the RIA. Because like Ted said, what sets my coaching apart is that I don't just teach the mindset or the how-to of real estate investing. I really focus on the mindset. And so I've been doing this. It's very, very sensitive. I've been in this industry for 24 years. My husband has been in this industry his entire life. And so we have a lot of knowledge, a lot of how-to share with you guys. However, a few years ago, when we started to get really successful with our investing, multiple people started asking us what makes someone a successful real estate investor versus someone who isn't successful. I think it was about 5 years ago, there was a huge real estate investing coaching program that kind of went through the nation and definitely went through Omaha. And we personally knew 5 to 10 people who spent multiple tens of thousands of dollars on getting all of the information and doing all of the classes. I know one lady that spent her entire retirement savings. And of those people, a couple of them did it, and 5 to 10 of them never, ever bought a house. And Mike and I, they're friends of ours, and we were really shocked by that. And so we really started looking at what makes somebody a successful real estate investor and what keeps people who get all the information from even buying a single house. And the one thing that is different between the two groups is their belief in whether or not they can. So one group thinks they can, and the other group thinks they can't. And that belief, creates the trajectory or lack thereof for their real estate career. Like, think about it. Maybe it's some of you guys in here who come every single month and get all the information, and yet you're not moving forward, or you're not moving forward in the way that you see other people moving forward. And then you have the, like the guys who are going to be speaking the next couple of months, Logan and Clint, right? And, they just grabbed hold of a vision, made a goal, and, just went for it and learned along the way, figured it out along the way. And really the only difference is whether or not they believed that they could. And so tonight, I am going to we're going to do some exercises tonight. This is going to be a little participatory. And I hope by the end of tonight you realize that the lack of information, lack of resources, tools, the fact that you don't come from a rich family is not what's holding you back. It is not what's holding you back from your dreams. The only thing that is holding you back from your dreams is your mindset. And the good news is that's something that can be changed. So tonight we will discover at least one thought that you have. No one else can give this to you, but I will help you discover at least one thought you have that is holding you back. And I'm going to leave you with 2 of my favorite and most effective tools for breaking through that thought, which will allow you to catapult towards your dreams. Sound good? So before we get started, if you have seen any of the exercises that I do, whether through me or through, I'm not ready for that yet. You're good. Thanks, Ted. Whether through my coaching or through somebody else, if you could just agree, if you know the exercise, don't participate, or at least don't give away the answer, so that somebody else can actually have the experience. Agreed? Because I know a lot of you, and you guys have seen me do some of this. So, get a drink of water. Since we're all real estate investors in here, can you take a look at this $20 bill? Is it Eric?
Yeah,
Is it real?
I think so.
It's real, right? I hope it is too, because we got it straight from the bank. So, real estate investors, I have a proposition for you, an investment opportunity. I will trade this $20 bill for a $1 bill. Who wants it? $20 bill for a $1 bill. What is that, a 2,000% return? Who wants this $20 bill? All you have to do is give me a $1 bill. I want you to pay attention to your thinking right now. Oh. Yes, that works. So,
Get to keep it?
yes. Was there any catch to that?
There was no catch other than getting up and making it happen, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. What just happened there? I'm sorry. Jesus got his butt up out of the chair. So did Serena. Jesus sat where he was more prepared, right? But think about what was going on in your mind if you didn't get up and come get that $20 bill, because that's a 2,000% return, right? What were you thinking? Some of you were thinking, it's too good to be true. This must be a joke. Maybe you were thinking, I don't want people to look at me because what if I'm wrong? Welcome to your life. Welcome to your life. Are there a bazillion opportunities to turn a $20 bill into a $1 bill? Yeah, there are. There are a bazillion opportunities. Normally when I do this exercise, I say there are a bazillion opportunities outside of this room. However, the truth is there's a bazillion opportunities inside this particular room. However, what's holding you back? Whatever you were thinking that held you back from coming up right now is holding you back from all of those opportunities. Think about it. If you didn't have a $1, welcome to your life. Where else are you not prepared for opportunity? If you weren't sitting in the front row, where else are you not sitting in the front row? If you didn't want people to see you because you might look stupid, where else are you doing that in your life? If you didn't want to get out of your chair, I'm sorry to tell you, but if you want to achieve your dreams, you're going to have to get your butt out of the chair and probably out of the house to make it happen. Where else are you being held back by whatever is going on in your head? I encourage you tonight to take notes. Write down what was going on in your head that kept you from coming up to get that $20 bill, so that we're going to address it in a bit, and I want you to be able to look at it later after tonight. Okay? So let's think about who in here is a parent of small children. So mine are, apparently it was too boring for her already. Mine are 9, 7, and 3. And that 3-year-old has a lot of energy. But think about, there have actually been studies done that show that our values, behaviors, beliefs about the world, 50% of them are set by the time we're 5 years old. Another 30% are set by the time we're 14 years old, and then another 15% are set by the time that we're 18 years old. Before our brains are even developed, most of our thinking, habits, behaviors, and how we respond or act in the world, or what holds us back or doesn't hold us back, is already set. That's a little scary. However, think about the 5-year-old. Does the 5-year-old know what they want? Yeah, if you ask a 5-year-old, what do you want, they will give you a list. A pony, a doll, whatever. I don't even know what all they are. Cookie, I want to play, I want to go to grandma's. They just start giving you a list. However, when I ask adults, what do you want? 7 or 8 out of 10 say, I don't know, or they say nothing. I don't want anything. And I think that's sad. If I had a genie in a bottle, would you really not want something if you had the opportunity? Yet we've stopped dreaming. Think about the 5-year-old. Are they determined when they know what they want? Our 3-year-old has started climbing up the cabinets. He climbs up using the hardware on the cabinets. We're probably going to have to replace some of that soon. But if he wants a cookie, he gets a cookie, right? He used to ask, and he got no too many times, so now he just climbs up and gets it. The other day, he actually got we have this big ladder that's kind of hard to get to maneuver, and he had gotten it out and maneuvered it so that he could have whatever it was he was going for on the shelves. 5-year-olds are determined. How determined are you with your dreams? As adults, we stop at the first no. In fact, most of the time, we make up the no in our mind before we even ask. I mean, think about it. You know, we don't even ask for the raise. You don't ask the girl out on a date. We stop ourselves based on stories that we have created in our own minds. Would it maybe make more sense to be a little bit more like a 5-year-old, or to discover what's holding you back from being like a 5-year-old? We're all ran from these 5-year-olds programs 50% of the time. However, it's the 5-year-old who is told no too many times, you know, or be careful, you might get hurt, you know. All of those things hold us back from our dreams. When does a 5-year-old want what they want? Now, exactly. They want it now. Try telling a 5-year-old, you can have a cookie after dinner, you know, or you can have that present for Christmas. You know, it's terrible. And my daughter and I were talking about this today on the way here. You know, they want everything now. And I said, when do adults want it? And she said, never. Like, it's so true. We're always talking in someday. You know, someday I'll do that. Someday I'll do this. Or I'll do it, you know, once I get the raise. Or I'll do it once I meet the right guy. Or like, I will admit, me and working out, I say, I will do it when it's nice weather outside. You know? But the truth is, we only have now. None of us know when our last breath is going to be our last, right? We don't know if you're going to make it home tonight. Like, that's the truth, yet we put off everything that we want in our lives. Why? I had a mentor that would say, when would now be a good time? When would now be a good time? I want you to think about something that you don't have in your life. So this could be a dream, a goal, or something that you want to buy that you just haven't bought for yourself yet. Everybody gets something in their mind. And now I want you to think of all the reasons why you don't have it. You haven't bought it. You haven't achieved that goal. And again, I encourage you to write these down. We're going to work with this later. I'm going to give you a couple minutes to think of all the reasons. Maybe it's not enough time, not enough money, I don't have enough information to make a good decision, I'm too old, I'm too young. If you're like me, you were too young until the day you were too old. But take a moment to think of the reasons why you don't have that thing. So take a look at your list. Keep writing if you're not done. But whatever you wrote for the reasons that you don't have something that you want in your life does not apply to only that thing. It is the reasons that you give for everything you don't have in your life that you want. These are the reasons that you've accepted for what you don't have, why you don't have everything in your life that you want. In order to continue in our lives where we're at today, you have to have reasons and you have to justify them, whether you believe that or not. Because if you couldn't justify the reasons, you would go accomplish whatever it was. You would go do it. There is a guy called the Limbless Pastor. Have you guys heard of him? If you haven't, look it up. His name is, I am going to look because I cannot say it. Nick Vachik. It's a tough one like Schlickburn. I don't know how to say it. By the way, if you see my book, it has my name as Jeri Cristine, which is my middle name, because Schlickburn is just a little too long to put on all that stuff. So Nick, the limbless pastor, is a man who was born with no arms and no legs. So he has feet that come out from his torso, and he has no arms or legs. He's in his late 30s, I would say, and you can imagine, how his parents felt when he was born. Can you imagine? Like, you would be heartbroken thinking of all the things that this boy, your son, wasn't going to experience or was going to miss out on because of the issues that he was born with. However, his parents didn't feed that story into him, and Nick never latched on to those stories. He never accepted them as truth. And today, he is a public speaker and pastor, and he works all over the world. He has a beautiful wife and 4 children. And that is somebody who had excuses or reasons or stories for not having their dreams that anybody would have accepted. Everyone would have said, oh yeah, that's too bad. They would have never expected greatness. Yet, what's your reason? What are the reasons that you're holding on to for not going for things? Because the weather's not nice outside? Like, wah, right? There's solutions for that. But where have you accepted a story or an excuse that you told yourself, or maybe someone else told it to you, and you just accepted it as truth? Where have you let that 5-year-old self get beat down by, it's too hard, I don't want you to get hurt, you shouldn't try to do that, we don't come from money, whatever it is, you grew up on the wrong side of the tracks. Where have you accepted that as truth in your life? The truth is, we all have every opportunity, and if we went around this room, I would probably get 100 different reasons of why, what are your limiting beliefs? 100 different reasons. The truth is, they're all bullshit, because somebody has those same excuses and they have used it as the reason why instead of the reason why not. Right? As evidenced by Nick. I'm going to have you go to actually, I have it, sorry. Let's see if I can figure out how to run got it? I didn't have it on. That would be helpful. Got it? Okay. I'm going to have help. So, your results today are the direct result of your thoughts. Who in here believes that you could be the next Colin Schwartz? Raise your hands high. Be proud of it. I know Tanner does. Why didn't you all raise your hands high? What's holding you back? And the truth is, if you raised your hand and you're not out there buying every single deal that possibly makes sense, then I'm calling bullshit on you too. Because if you believed it, you would be doing that, because that's what he did, right? He's one of those people that believed in himself and went forward and figured it out along the way. And there's no reason why you can't do that too. Your current results are a direct reflection of your thoughts. Whatever your results are, they could not be different, because your thinking is what it is. And I'm going to demonstrate that. If you could go to the next slide. We'll come back to that one. Okay. So we all have a set of core values. If you think about like core values. So values are thoughts we have about the world, that these are the things that are set from 0 to 5. So they are a direct reflection of where you're born, what kind of, what country you're born into, right? What kind of family you're born into can affect them. It's things like, living in a capitalist Christian society versus living in a different type of like Muslim society, right? It's things that are hard to change based on where you grew up at. The next step, if you'll click to the next one, is your thoughts or your programs. People are creatures of habit. 80, I think they say we have about 80,000 thoughts a day. And over 60,000 of those thoughts are the same thought that you had yesterday and the day before. It's a huge number. Almost all the thoughts that you have in a day are thoughts you had before, which part of it is good because that's what allows us to get up and function throughout the day without having to like relearn how to brush your teeth every day, without having to relearn how to cook breakfast or even that you need to eat. However, some of those things are just autopilot. So some of these thoughts are just, you get up every morning, you have the same routine, you drive to work without thinking about how you got there, you have a certain way of being at work, you do a certain thing at work and you have a certain way that you do it. Like when I was in my 20s, I worked in a sales position. It was me and 3 guys named Jeff. I am not kidding you. One was spelled with a G, the other 2 were Jeff. and I'm not a morning person. And my way of being at work back then was don't say hi to me until 10 o'clock in the morning. And at 10 o'clock in the morning, their little heads would pop up over the cubicles because they were all morning people. And they would be like, good morning, and I'm like, oh, how annoying. But we have a way that we are at work. And then we drive home on autopilot, 60 miles an hour with the phone in one hand, food in another hand, and if you're me, 3 screaming children in the back seat. And then you get in your driveway and go, oh, thank goodness I didn't hit anybody, right? And then we watch the same Netflix shows, we eat the same things for dinner, and we just repeat until the weekend when we watch the same football team with the same guys and drink the same beer every weekend. It's like Groundhog Day. Until you interrupt it. Until you take a look at, are these thoughts serving me or not? And change the ones that don't. Can you go to the next slide? So your thoughts, your programs, then affect how you feel or your emotions. So if you wake up in the morning and it's gloomy outside and snowing and it's going to be a bad day, how do you feel? How are your emotions? Your emotions and your feelings then affect your actions and behavior. Because if you feel bad, are you going to do all the things that you need to do to have a great day? Or are you going to kind of mope around and wish that you could just sit in front of the fire with a good blanket and a movie, right? And so our actions then affect our results. Because if you're not acting on anything, what kind of results are you going to get? So take this back to a negative thought. If one of the things that you wrote down that held you back from the things that you want or from my $20 bill, maybe one of those things was, I'm not good enough, or I'm not worthy. If you have a thought that is an overriding thought that says, I'm not worthy, how are you going to feel? What is going to be your emotions throughout the day? Imagine that that is your underwriting thought, and then you come to a meeting like this, and Ted asks you what kind of investment property you're looking for. And because you've don't believe that you're worthy. You haven't put a lot of thought into it. So you say what everyone says, a 3-2-1 with a 1-car garage, and hopefully a 1%, return on the rent. You buy it for $100,000, it rents for $1,000. Just what everyone would say. Then Ted brings you one of those, gives you that opportunity. Are you going to act on it? Probably not, because you tell yourself, I'm not worthy. And so you get nervous. You think, I don't have enough money. How could I possibly do this? I'm not married yet. I need to call Jeri and have her walk through it with me and make sure it's okay, and I'm not available, so you miss out on it. You can see how your results are a direct reflection of your thoughts. The good news is you can change your thoughts. Again, you can't really change your values. However, you can change your thoughts. And that is my argument tonight. Until you begin to consciously change your thoughts, your life will never change. Some of you have been coming here for years, getting all the information, and you still haven't bought a house. And if I come back in 5 years, if you're still here, your results will still be the same. Unless you change your thoughts and you get really convicted about that, and you have to. We're going to do another exercise here. I want you guys to throw out, to me, just call out limiting beliefs, or thoughts that you have. What were some things that held you back from your dreams? Or from that $20 bill? Okay. Too afraid, not enough time. What was that? Lack of experience, not enough money, too young, lack of confidence. There it is, too old. Too risky. What else? Not the right time. How about with real estate? We're going into a different real estate market than what we've been in the last few years. How do you guys feel about the real estate market? Good. More deals, yep. High interest rates. What else? Multiple offers you have to compete with. What else? How about money? Who in here feels like debt is bad? Couple people are willing to admit it. Okay, so I want you to copy these 9 dots, I want you to copy this on your page. And then I want you to connect all 9 dots using just 4 straight continuous lines. I'm going to give you a couple minutes to do that. If you need a pen, raise your hand. There's some pens in the back. And if you get it, then do it with 3. Does anybody think they got it? Okay, I'm going to show you. Did anybody get it? I don't know how to do it with 3 either. I know some people can. So, if you look at this, most of you were staying, you see this as a box, right? You see this as a box. That's what our minds do. That's why there's the saying, thinking outside the box. What you want, your dreams are out here. Your dreams are that part. But you tell yourself it's too risky. Debt is bad. The economy's turning down. You know, money is safe. We got to keep money in the bank. You work within your box, your 9 dots. And it feels risky because you go for your dream and you bump up against your box. And that feels hard. And so you come back in. You know, I'm not good enough. I don't have enough money. I don't, you know, whatever, all of these reasons. The true risk, though, is staying within here, because then you don't create the legacy for your children. You know, then if you stay in here, you never become the man that you know you're meant to be. If you stay in here, your children never see you succeed. When you stay in here, your children learn things like, it's too risky, it's too hard, you shouldn't try that, you might get hurt. When you bust through this imaginary box, you realize it's really not hard. Lenders want to give you money. $1 million deal is just a couple more zeros, one more zero than a $100,000 deal. You know? But as long as you stay in here, the rest of us have less competition. That's all that it is. That's literally all it is. If you'll show, I have a video. My Netflix is TikTok. And I saw this video. It's a little goofy. However, I want you to listen to it. You got that?
Is debt tax-free?
I don't know.
Because that's how money is created.
Like I said, money doesn't make you rich, it makes you poor. That's why the wealthy don't have money. They have debt and they have assets, and they use their debt to buy more assets, then they leverage those assets to borrow more money, then they use that money to buy more assets. Lending is largely how money is circulated into the economy. The more debt there is, the more money there is, and therefore the more inflation there is, which raises the value of their assets relative to the now devalued money supply at the expense of regular people who have been convinced that saving money will make you rich. It won't.
Yep. He just gave away all the secrets. Like literally, he just gave away all the secrets. And if you don't understand what he's talking about on that video, you need to. It's a paradigm shift. It is just the shift from what we were taught our whole lives, money is safe, save money, get a good job, you know, retire and get the gold watch. I mean, it's a paradigm shift, but it's the truth. And you guys need to understand that. It's huge. I think about the biggest paradigm shift in my life, in my career, was going from being the real estate agent / broker to being the business owner. You know, I was a broker in 3 states. I actually just let one of them go this year. But I was, you know, kind of a big deal. However, I was working my ass off. You know, I got to work hard. You got to work hard to make money. My kids were suffering because I was working so hard to make money. Guess what? When I gave that up and came out here, I don't work hard anymore. In fact, I homeschool my daughters this year because I have time, because I changed my mind about whether or not it's hard to make money. And you cannot change your mind just by yourself. It's not possible because your thinking created the results that you have. All of the best people in any industry have a coach. And I would encourage you to have a coach too. Or even doing something could be listening to a podcast that's not just the how-to, but it also stretches your mind. You know, I love that Ted and Owen do the podcast because they don't always just talk about the how-to. They get the story behind it because that helps other people to realize that they can do it too. And so think about like going to lunch with a mentor. You know, Mike and I have had this so many times where we thought we were doing pretty good and, you know, we were at a good level, and then we'll go to lunch with somebody who's next level and we're like, like, wow, and it helps us level up. All of those things get you out here. There's no such thing, though, as out-of-the-box thinking. All this does is you have a new box because you did something different, you know, which allowed you to think differently. And there's no end to the boxes. They just keep expanding and expanding, and you keep, hopefully, growing outside of that box. There's a quote, I don't remember who said it, but it's, the learners will inherit the earth. The learned will be beautifully equipped for a world that no longer exists. The learners are people that do something different, you know, that are willing to take a risk and be new, be students, and try something different so that they can get outside of the box. The learned are the people who are very stuck to the way that things have always been done. It worked in the past, so it should always work. So I encourage you to be learners. Albert, if you go back to my original quote, there we are. This is my favorite quote. And Albert Einstein, you can't fix a problem with the same mind that created it. Successful people are always looking for ways to be more successful. If you guys have any interest in our coaching, I want to tell you a little bit about that, and then I'm going to end with the 2 tools that I promised you in the beginning. So, like I said, Mike and I have been in this industry a long time, so we have a lot of knowledge that we are passionate about sharing. And last year, the beginning of, well, actually about a year and a half ago, I decided to offer a coaching class because I was getting so many requests from people to mentor them, and I didn't have time to do them all individually, so I put a class together, knowing full well that the difference in my class would be the mindset work as well. And I am really honored because I recently, in fact, just 2 weeks ago, heard a statistic that said of all the people who buy real estate investing program, only 27% of them complete it, whether it's some kind of program or class. And of those 27% of people who actually complete it, 88% never do it. So it's a small percentage of people that actually do it. And last year, some of my students came to me and said that they had figured out that over 80% of my students had bought their first or their next investment property within 3 months of taking the class. So that was really exciting. I know some of you are in here today, but I'm excited to share with you that we've decided to expand what we're offering to fit more people's, the need of more people. So the program's called Dreamvesting Catalyst, and we have 3 classes, and the acronym is DVG, which is our real estate team name. That stands for Dreamvesting Group. And so our classes are Dream, and Dream is for the new investors who are just getting started. It's a 10-week class where I introduce concepts and tools that you will use, and we also do mindset work. The second class is called Vision, and this class, there's a flyer on your table, Missy's pointing out. This class is a more in-depth look at the tools that we give in the first class, and that class is mostly taught by Tanner Sherman. You want to wave? Tanner is mine and Mike's business partner in our company, Dreamvesting Asset Management, and he is brilliant. And one paradigm shift as your business grows is that you should learn to hire people who are better than you, and it makes life a lot easier. And Tanner is one of those people. And then the next class is called Goals. So this is for people who are actually out there achieving their goals and their dreams. And this is a semi-private coaching that we go into depth on your projects and your dreams and help you create a roadmap of how to get there. Like Ted said in the beginning, also, I have co-authored a book. It's called Brave Women Stand. It's not about real estate. It's about mindset. And it's a conglomeration of ladies' stories of the things that they've overcome in their life to get to where they are today. It looks very, very feminine. I would not have chose that myself. I did not choose the cover or the title. It is a really good book for anybody because it's really just stories of overcoming obstacles to get where you are. And then also my other passion, one of my agents recently was laughing because I'm the yogi broker. I love yoga, meditation, and connecting with women on a really deep spiritual level, and encouraging other women to give back to the community, however is their gifts. And so I'm hosting I've hosted before, and I'm hosting another ladies' retreat coming up in just a few weeks. So if you're interested in any of those, there's information on those flyers or at the back. But remember, if there's anything that I can give to you tonight that you can walk away with here, is that whatever held you back in the beginning in those first two exercises is what holds you back anywhere. It's not the mechanics. It's not the how-to. There are a million different ways to make money and create wealth in real estate, and a million different ways within each of those ways. My students are always asking me, how do I partner with other people? And I'm like, I don't know. How do you guys want to partner with each other? There's a million different ways. I can give you some tools. However, you're going to create something that I've never thought of before. So do that. Create things that other people have never thought of before, because that's where the magic happens, and that's where the real money is made. So the tools that I promised you before we would go. So the first tool, if you go back to that list, all the reasons that held you back from the $20 bill, or the reasons that hold you back from the thing that you want in your life. What I'd like you to do tonight, hopefully, is to go home and write that list on a clean piece of paper and keep writing until you've written all the limiting beliefs that you have. Because I guarantee I didn't give you enough time to write them all tonight. There's so many different limiting beliefs. So write them all on a clean piece of paper, and then you'll take a second clean piece of paper, and you're going to cross out each limiting belief and then write a positive statement that reflects that limiting belief. So for example, if your limiting belief is, I don't have enough money, your positive statement would be, I am wealthy, or I am abundant, whatever comes to you. So these are going to be positive or I am statements. And you're going to write one for each limiting belief until all of the limiting beliefs are crossed off. And then you're going to take that list of limiting beliefs and burn it. get rid of it. If you have a struggle with coming up with a positive for one of the negatives, message me. I love to help with that. And of course, this is not a magic pill. Your limiting beliefs just don't magically go away because we crossed them off and burned it. What that is it's an anchor in your brain so that when one of those beliefs come up, you can say, wait, I burned that. And you can replace it with the positive. The limiting beliefs have been created over decades of your life. They protected you, and they got you to where you are today. So you can even thank them and then politely dismiss them and replace it with the positive. What an anchor like this does is that it gives you a moment to stop and take a deep breath and choose a different path. Where before, that belief would just, it just keeps going. It's like those grooves we have in our brain. You don't have a choice, really, because you've made that choice a million times before. So this anchor stops and allows you to make a different choice. The second tool that I'm going to leave you with is the power of now. So we kind of talked about this in the beginning, but the truth is, none of us know when our next breath is going to be our last. And yet we live like we have forever. So again, hopefully tonight, I want you to go home and find a quiet spot where you won't be interrupted. And I want you to think about if your guardian angel came to you tonight and said, you have one more year. No negotiation. March 7th, 2024 is it. What would you do? I really want you to think about it, and then I want you to write until you stop writing. If you just start scribbling, you will write, I promise. It's called free flow writing. And just write until you can't write anymore. And then live from that place. Would you rekindle the relationship with your sister who you haven't talked to in 2 years because you got in a fight? Would you buy 100 houses? Then do it. I'm holding you accountable to that by the end of this year. I'm your new accountability buddy. You're welcome. Would you make an offer on the 50 unit so that your kids have a legacy to fall back on? And instead of taking the first no for financing, would you ask every single bank? Would you ask JM Capital? Would you ask everybody you know with money, or even the people you don't know with money in case they know somebody with money? Like, what would stop you? Would you run a marathon? Then do it. Okay, I won't hold you accountable for that. Would you adopt a child? Would you create the legacy that you're wanting to create that you keep putting off? Do it. And here's your third tool, JFDI. And in one of our other coaching programs, we have JFDI earmuffs. Sorry, she already hears the words. Just fucking do it. Just fucking do it. So that's what I'm going to leave you with, JFDI. But before I go, my little 9-year-old recognized an opportunity tonight, and I'm going to encourage her to take it. She is learning how to speak in front of other people, which is awesome because most of you would rather die than get up here and talk. And she asked if she could, so she's going to tell us a joke. Okay. Look at everybody and then say, okay.
What's your name?
Mom.
What's this?
Knows.
What am I holding?
Nothing.
Mom knows nothing.
Good job. I told her that's not a very good joke after I just told everybody lots of good things. that's all I've got for tonight. If you guys have any questions, you're welcome to ask. I might have ended a little bit early, but I hope you got something out of that. And I'd love to talk to any of you afterwards.
One question for Jeri at all? There's a mic there. Real quick. Okay. You blew their minds, Jeri. Good job. And you left me $1. Hey, I came up and got it.